So 660 is what? Just under 20 feet, right? 20 feet?
22 feet.
22 feet. This is the greatest
Special
22-foot boat I have ever seen.
I think when someone sees a picture, I know for me, I've been looking at Haber Yachts for more than 10 years. But you're unprepared for seeing this level of quality. I mean, it's just beautiful.
Hi, I'm Joe, and welcome to Motor City Boat Werks. Let's get to work.
If you've been watching my channel, you know that I sometimes take trips away from the boat works in order to get a little bit of boat motivation so I can keep working on my own projects. I've done more than a dozen episodes internationally covering stories of boat motivation around the world. Today, I've traveled almost 5,000 miles. I'm in between Gdansk and Warsaw. I'm in a tiny little town called Nowe Miasto Lubawskie in northern Poland. This episode is going to be all about some fantastic little motor sailor yachts. The company is Haber Yachts. You got to check this out.
If you're not familiar with this company, Haber Yachts is a boat building firm based in Poland. Since the company's creation in 1991, they've been making a variety of motor yachts and pilothouse sailboats. Their boats are between 20 and about 34 feet long. Many of them are designed to be trailerable so that they can be pulled out and stored during the off-season. All the Haber sailboats come as either gaff-rigged sloops or a gaff cutter. You can find all the details on their website, but I'll also put the link in the show description. Haber Yachts are not really available in the United States. They're well known in Europe and have a reputation for exceptional quality. The boats are all handmade using modern fiberglass construction methods. They have traditional aspects in their design, but hidden innovations for the discerning customer. These are custom boats made to order, some of them showcasing innovations from their designer and builder. The owner and the naval architect is a guy by the name of Janusz Konkol.
Hello, welcome in the Haber Yachts company. I am the owner of that company. The company was established in 1991.
When I first met Janusz, I think he was a little skeptical of me. At 76 years old, I'm not sure he really understood what my YouTube channel was about or why an American would travel all this way to take a look at his sailboat factory. He calls it his shipyard. And over the next 6 hours, we spent time getting to know each other and began to revel in a shared passion that has to do with sailing, sailboats, and boat building. Any mistakes that I've made in explaining anything, well, that's on me. Janusz wants me to tell you that if you have any questions, be sure to contact Haber Yachts directly to get the information firsthand. My story of Haber Yachts is not just about a company that makes high-quality bespoke yachts. It's also a story about its fascinating owner and his innovative ideas about boat building and sailboat design.
Motor City Boat Werks has no sponsors. I get no compensation from any of the companies, the people, or the products that I talk about on my YouTube channel. Please take a moment to subscribe and hit the like button. This channel would not be possible without your support. Thank you.
The first thing you need to know is that the Haber Yacht Factory is a former Soviet-era water distribution plant chosen by Janusz for its potential. He's made a number of modifications to the site. It's all climate controlled using a geothermal system that Janusz had built and installed. Basically, cool air is pumped inside, keeping the factory at a constant temperature all year round. In Poland, it can get cold in the winter and humid in the summer. This is one of the secrets to consistent high-quality fiberglass layup. This way, there's never any issue in their fiberglass production. It's just one of the clever ideas that you'll see Janusz use in his shipbuilding.
Inside here, it's very cool. It's very surprising. And
When it's hot summertime, everybody wants working here.
they want to work inside here, yeah. All because of that central...
Let's say air conditioning.
Yeah, that ground air conditioning system. That's so fascinating. Look, and then look at the ductwork here. So I climbed up on top here. I'm following Janusz. We're gonna see the wooden boat, the first wooden boat that kind of launched this whole making yachts process here. And I gotta tell you, I'm standing down on the floor down here, and he jumps up on top of this scaffolding. He's running around like a teenager. Inside the shop here, you know, of course, it smells like a fiberglass boat factory, right? There's a little bit of, you can smell the resin in the air. And there's grinding and sanding, and there's guys doing layups inside the shop. But what I'm struck by is that inside here, you have maybe a dozen employees that are working in here. They're all older guys, 30, 40, 50-year-old guys, except for one young guy right here. And this young guy, he's relatively new. But all the rest of these guys inside here have been with Janusz for years and years and years, one for 34 years from the very beginning. And it's like a bunch of old guys working on boats in here. They want to show me pictures of the schematics and talk to me about how everything works inside here. Of course, I don't speak Polish and they don't speak English, so this is just kind of a very exciting sort of place to be in.
The company employs about 50 people. In that regard, it's very much like a family business. Because Janusz is the naval architect and the owner, he oversees all aspects of the building process, always to his exacting standards.
The person who does your like wooden boat work and
Yes.
this type of joinery is different than the people who do the fiberglass work,
the same.
or everyone can do everything?
Not everyone, but a lot of people are universal.
Really?
They can do metal work,
Right.
GRP work, wooden work,
Right.
assemble. Rig is a little more problematic, so
Right.
less people can do that.
And this is, you were saying that it takes about 5 years to get somebody kind of spun up and being able to do some of
we
the things.
think
Yeah?
about the, let's say, basic
Yeah, just the
assemble
basic knowledge.
challenge,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But if you like to do, let's say, everything, that
Yeah.
is few people.
Yeah, really.
Really few people which are longer than 20
Amazing.
years even.
Janusz tells me he was a child prodigy, a mandolin player, chosen to represent communist Poland, but his mentor and patron fell out of favor and his music career ended as soon as it started. At a local club, he learned how to build a wooden boat. This led to a lifetime hobby of sailing and working around boats. In communist Poland, you couldn't own a boat, but if you worked on the boats at the local yacht club, you could get access to them. He sailed every chance he could, sometimes in local races on the Baltic Sea. This led to him getting a degree in naval architecture and later a job in the Gdansk shipyards, the very shipyards that would be the birthplace of the Solidarity movement. When communism collapsed, he joined a childhood friend and they created Haber Yachts. He eventually bought all the shares in the company and he never looked back. What I think sets him apart is this unusual combination of practical knowledge as a sailor, rigorous Soviet education as a naval architect, and the real-world experience of commercial and recreational shipbuilding. It makes him a triple threat. It's what allows him to operate at an extremely high level. The factory is so successful that Haber Yachts now manufactures other boats for other brands. This one is under the Dutch luxury brand Long Island Yachts.
This is the remote control for the electric engine.
Right.
And we make this cooperating together. This wheel is for the diesel engine steering, and
Yeah.
by the electric engine steering.
By the electric engine steering,
One.
too.
But
Yeah.
we added special elements, components that is possible.
They would have to
And
be two separate systems,
Normally,
but with
you
some
need
linkage
second
to
wheel.
put them together.
You need
Yeah.
second wheel.
Yeah.
But we're linking this by the software way with equipment which recognizing the position of the rudder,
Huh.
original one, which transmitting this data to the electrical things. And it's possible to using also this docking system
Right.
with electric engine.
With the electric engine also.
To just the top of tops.
I think when someone sees a picture, I know for me, you know, I've been looking at Haber Yachts for more than 10 years, looking in the magazines and studying the photographs, and I never saw one up close. And I've seen a lot of boats, a lot of production boats, a lot of custom boats, but you're unprepared for seeing this level of quality. It's very, I mean, it's just beautiful. It is, and it has this feel of like bespoke, totally kind of, I don't know if it's one off, but it feels one off. It feels like one of a kind, right?
This is we make each boat as one.
Yeah,
For this particular customer,
Yeah.
with his wishes, dream, choices,
yeah,
and that we offer him in our meaning, you know, the best solutions, the best
Yeah.
possible solutions.
yeah.
I asked Janusz where this drive for perfection comes from. He recounted how as a child in communist Poland, he once bought a pair of cheap quality shoes, and his mother told him, "You're too poor for those cheap shoes." The implication was, you can't afford to buy something cheap. It's got to last as long as possible, so it better be the best quality. He's a big believer in TQM, Total Quality Management. He taught it briefly at one of the universities. In his boat works, he'll have employees unrelated to the project at hand come and evaluate quality with a fresh set of eyes. There are layers of checks and balances and evaluation going on, which he supervises and then gives the final approval.
So, Janusz, your question, go ahead, your question.
If you can show me where here is weld.
So the question is, where is there a weld in this stainless steel windshield
for example,
frame?
in this area.
Yeah. So I'm going to try and film this here with the camera. Can you see where the weld is? I can't see it. Impossible. You would assume that it's
welded,
in here.
It's welded here.
It's here. I would assume it was up here, but
No,
it's
no,
actually
no,
here.
no. Here. When you weld it here, this all will be bended.
Wow. That is
And we
amazing.
bought especially the laser welding machine
Really?
because that make about 80 times less shrimping effect
Yeah, yeah.
to the thick machine.
And you were telling me before that the reason you did this is because you had a windshield sourced from a supplier.
Yes.
But you weren't happy with the quality of it or
Shape,
the
quality,
everything.
disaster.
So you came up with your own machine,
we
basically, and
make
jig to
our
make
own
this.
design.
Yeah,
We're scanning the deck.
yeah,
And we designed the windshield frame as a new.
yeah.
And we designed the instrumentation.
Then you can do everything
And we
custom
make
the way
this,
you want it.
3 boats,
Yeah.
which we now making this
Yeah.
windshield frame ourselves.
Fascinating.
This is number 3.
So in
That
fitting,
that boat will have also this system.
Yeah.
But we redesigned the stringer.
right. So Janusz is saying that there is 2 design parameters that they got to deal with. One is that there's a stringer inside here that they have to be able to get it in a certain position. But over here, it's got to have 1 millimeter of clearance. I don't know if you can see it.
Maybe from that side. Will be
Maybe
better.
like this right here.
Yes.
You can just see there's just a hair of clearance right here so that this can go right inside there. Wow.
As the business has grown, this relentless pursuit of quality has caused Janusz to bring a lot of the fabrication in-house. They have the ability to make almost everything themselves. What they can't make, they can then design, invent, and then build. When he couldn't get the stainless steel frames that he wanted, he made his own in his own metal shop.
So this is the windshield frame that we were looking at inside there,
Yes.
and you asked about the weld.
Yes.
And this is the
Equipment.
frame that you used.
Frame, equipment.
Yeah.
This is the main parts because we have boxes of the elements.
Yeah.
Which you attached to the frame.
Yeah, yeah,
Here,
yeah.
You know, below that profile. Yes.
Yeah.
And and that's save you that you make repeatedly very high quality of product.
How many frames did it take to get to this point to have a frame that will last to be able to use consecutively?
From first.
From the first one?
Yes, because that's always when we make the first product, but of course by next you make improvements, but the first one must be full acceptable. And mainly I like the first product. Not sometimes I prefer the second or third one.
Interesting.
That was the third one.
That's the third one there. Interesting.
And that you see the progress of finishing. Now you
Yes.
don't see the place.
It's,
of welding.
yeah, you can't see it.
You see where is welding place?
Huh.
This is welding place, and here goes.
So,
the next
oh,
one.
so this is what you were pointing out on there.
Yes, and
You
you-
said,
you
where's the
bend-
joint? This is
yes.
what it would have looked
Yeah.
like about 2 inches down. I see,
Yes.
2 inches here.
Oh, here half.
Yeah, and here have to.
Here welding is big mistake. That I learned that when I make first revolution with the yokes for centerboards.
So here's a situation, right? So you have a life raft that's going on the Haber 660 that we were just on, right? And this, you've got to make a box to go around it, a cage to hold it. And that's what this is.
Yes.
And then you're able to do all this stuff inside because you've got the box right there. You just bring it over.
Here's turning axe
Yeah.
that you can open.
Yeah.
And as you can see here on that table, is
Yeah.
a platform.
Right.
It will be below.
Right.
After opening, you can walk through.
To the layman, this might seem like an obscure project, but what he's done is found a way for a life raft to be able to be swung out of the way for boarding the boat. This is a small detail that only a true sailor would appreciate. Time and time again, I'm reminded that real boat building is about problem solving. You see a problem, and then you think about a solution, and then you make the solution happen. When he needed a way to test the boats to ensure their water tightness, their trim and ballast, Janusz converted an old pump room into his own test pool. Now every boat gets put on the water before it ever rolls out the door.
This is your tank.
This is the tank, which was the three parts tanks for cleaning the water. When I bolted this, I see, okay, this is enough deep, I can make here a test pool. Then I cut these two walls to the bottom, and because I had this machine, and I started thinking how I can power it by this machine, and then I had a transmission here, and then I can put here the boat to 5 tons and put by this machine. But if I'm using this simple belts, I can launch here 12-ton bolts. The zipper right here, I put the wall, pressed, and put more.
And then fill it up to water to the deck here.
To the grid, you know?
To the grid, great. Yeah. That's amazing. That's
And there's no better place to witness Janusz's ingenuity than on the Haber 660, a 22-foot trailerable pilothouse sailboat capable of sailing the Baltic Sea. It's a boat I've been lusting after for almost 20 years. Janusz tells me that he designed all these boats for a particular type of sailor, someone who wants the convenience of being able to sail on, say, a lake or a river, but also have the ability to take the boat on the ocean, a sailboat that could potentially do anything. He's proud to say, for many sailors, this is the last boat that they'll ever own.
To make this increase the plastic navigation.
Yeah. I like this. I think this is well thought out. I think this is brilliant. This is proper.
You're putting here.
Yes.
And the belt working with organized way.
This is all your design, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is for the gemacher.
Right.
We do let you mooring here. You can make
Yeah.
mooring work, and you have a fixed
Yeah.
position of the
Yeah.
rope.
This is all proper.
And here will be the box with the raft. That you will have a way here to walk through to the bridge.
Yeah.
Or in the harbor that will be open, and on the sea will be closed and fix it here.
You tape it because
Because to keep the raft outside.
Yeah.
Easy for using.
Yeah.
If you need it.
yeah.
Not on the deck that you have to lifting
Yeah,
in
yeah.
bad conditions.
Yeah.
Just open and push it out.
His pilothouse designs prevent the boat from becoming stable if it's ever turned upside down. What this means is that there's no angle of vanishing stability. These boats will self-right themselves.
This is one of your boats that doesn't have the C4 system, right? No. So it's an older boat. These boats over here, the newer boats, they have this what's called the C4 system.
Yes.
And that's the 4 centerboards. That's what
Yes.
the C4 stands for.
The standard one, the main,
Yeah.
and one at the front
Yeah.
and two at the back.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, one of his most innovative designs is what he calls the C4 system. C4 stands for 4 centerboards. They're in different positions on the hull of the boat, and it allows the boat to be sailed simply by using the centerboards to hold a course. Now, I can understand if you're skeptical, but Janusz does lectures. You can watch them online on YouTube. And Practical Boat Owner magazine, they've done articles on his designs, testing them offshore, and the results are simply extraordinary.
So this is one of the centerboards
Part
here.
of the C4 system.
Yeah.
This is the version where you have outside. You see the system of powering, system
Right.
of fixing the axe. And
But on some of the boats, it goes up inside into
yes,
a cavity.
But I like more that because
Yeah.
it's more far away from the rotation
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
That is stronger effect.
Yeah.
And here we make the second time the system of easy emptying cockpit from the water. You see the flipper. that let you out the water from inside.
Yeah,
The big
scupper
waves will
system.
make full
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
cockpit,
yeah.
and waves outside is limited.
Yeah. Does it have regular scupper hoses or only this type of thing?
The regular is here.
So you have
with
that
the,
also.
let's say, normal capacity.
Normal capacity.
And here's the fast draining
Yeah,
system.
yeah. Do you feel like this is complicated for a sailor to learn
You know,
to use this
that's-
type of
that's-
system?
I make the 2013. We make this tour to Oslo.
Yeah.
That's each week we have a new crew. 6 times we change
Yeah.
the crew.
Yeah.
And all the time people need 2 days be on the board.
Yeah.
And make normal the time of working the wachte.
Yeah.
And that's 2 days.
Yeah.
It's needed. That's
2 days to kind of get
everybody
familiar
can
with it.
operating in the
Yeah.
basic level.
Once they've become familiar with it, what's their opinion? Is it?
We sailing.
Yeah.
We sailing. And to really recognize what is the profit, you need sailing longer. You need to find a different situation on the water. If you will be the good operator that you know the reactions and you start working by habit, that's you can see profit. My tour 2023 by Baltic by the Haber 660, almost 800 nautical miles, 15 miles only using autopilot.
This is very out of the box thinking.
Yes.
It's kind of revolutionary thinking.
Yes, because let's say bigger part of the sailor are educated that they cannot do so much below the water. And on my boat, you have a sails in the air. And
Yeah, it sails in the water. You can adjust
And
all of
you
them.
can balance. You have a much bigger area of balance.
But someone would argue that this makes the overall boat system more complicated. More things to go wrong, more things to fail, more things to fix. And if it's not constructed to very high standards, of course, it won't be as reliable.
You know, that is the question who looking for.
Right.
Owner of that boat. He was
Right.
once on my boat because he bought the boat without the C4 system. And last year we sailing from Gdańsk to Holland. Then we were 5 days on the sea. And when we come back, he said, Janusz, make it.
Yeah, he's a believer.
Yeah.
I think it's something so new that someone would have to see it and probably experience it and maybe realize their options. I understand what you're saying. Previously, as a sailor, you're taught you only have so many options.
The first one, people believe that the boat with an outside fixed keel are safe on this, and this is opposite. Even worse, however, that boat gets danger and danger. When you have a boat with centerboard and inside ballast and correct proportionally shapes, you can create the boat as Haber, which I have sail rating condition from 180 also, and with lifted main board. And that's you can, if you will add another, even you have only this one board, you make a lot of balancing work using rudder and the main board. If you have additional freeboards, you have a much bigger range of regulation, and that you going to the levels which before you even don't touching.
Right. One of my questions is, what is the deck made of on your Haber yachts?
Yes.
What is the deck? The hull is 100% fiberglass.
Yes.
What is the deck made of?
You mean deck?
Yeah, the deck. Yeah, the deck right here.
Also
Everything.
GRP.
Also GRP.
Yes.
100%, or is there coring?
Is the sandwich construction?
Yeah, sandwich construction.
And the massive GRP.
And what is the
Depends.
sandwich coring material? Wood?
No.
No.
Arex.
Arex. Yeah. Okay. So no matter what, even if you drill a hole or something in the deck, you'll never get rot.
No. And also we assemble the Arex by special way.
Okay.
There's no empty space.
No empty
We make
space.
it all piece by hand.
Okay.
Square space and all by hands.
How do you know that you have a good sandwich construction? Is there a pressure or something that's applied?
No, depends, because we also make infusion in sandwich too.
Oh, infusion sandwich.
But that we make when we start using the infusion, we make tests on the glass.
Yeah.
That we have a camera inside, camera outside.
Oh, really?
From both sides.
Yeah.
And we see the speed of the front of the resin.
You can see the resin move, so you
that's
know you have
everything.
good coverage.
And we make the test of the also the epoxy resins.
Yeah.
And we came to the very good effect of strength.
Yeah.
Top. quality of.
Where do you get your resins from? Are they sourced
We
in
have
Europe? Or?
suppliers, you know, very stable.
Yeah.
Most of the time when we have a few suppliers, but we decide one.
Yeah.
That because it's very important to know this material.
Right.
This
right.
particular
Or
material.
this particular
you know?
thing.
This is-
I am inside. This is the Haber 550 or 650? 660.
180, 185.
And you can see, look at the headroom inside here. So this is centerboard right here.
Yes.
Yes, right? Okay, let me see this. Do this.
Here, blocked and back. One position.
Amazing.
If you want it dinner, you're putting this here.
So clever.
Rest here, and here is table. Yes. Now it's somewhere else. I don't know where. And that you can sit 2 persons perfect. That is the, you know,
So 660 is what? Just under 20 feet, right? 20 feet?
22 feet.
22 feet. This is the greatest
Special
22-foot boat I have ever seen.
Blocked, yes. And you would like to using open. Stopper.
Wow!
Now the space below the sink is really use it.
Did you design this?
Yeah.
How did you build this? How did you...
By hand.
That is amazing. Janusz, you have a solution for almost everything.
That is
This is
solution from
amazing.
The Grzegorz give this solution. I just designed.
Wow.
Access to the seacock and
Yeah.
and fantastic fridge. I love it. That fridge. Please see, we added that element and protect against break the door
Right.
because before it was very
Right.
common.
Right.
Fantastic fridge.
Look at that.
That is not finished. The customer thinking what he wants.
It is just, that's pretty good. You might be able to get a shower in there. I don't know.
Yes, it's possible.
Yeah.
But I have a shower in the cockpit on my boat. I
Right.
prefer that.
Right.
And this is the bracket for the
Paper towel?
Paper towel.
Look at that.
On my boat is added the rubber, the block. That's keep this always to the
Yeah,
wall. Even you
yeah.
have a heel on the left side.
Yeah. Even the chain plates you make. This is
Yes.
your chain plate here.
Yes.
Wow, look at that.
It makes straight strength to the
Right.
to the plates.
Is it bolted down inside here?
No. This is bolted here. Make stronger by fiberglass.
Fiberglass, yeah.
You know the tappers. And here is very strong and big washer below with the welded nuts.
Yeah.
And then you screw it from the top.
Yeah. How thick would you say your hull is in general?
Here you have 5 layers of GSM.
Okay.
Bottom is 1 layer more. Keel is 2 times
Okay. Do you know how much is that in millimeters? You know?
5,
5?
6,
Yeah.
and 11,
11,
on
12.
the keel.
Yeah. Wow.
And all reinforcements are already made.
Yeah.
As here, the special one, you know.
Look at this, man.
This is 23 years old yacht. Not just little family, that's it.
23 years old, the rubbing stripe. That's amazing. How can that be? And I love how this is constructed. You basically have a sacrificial piece on the outside here. This one is mounted interior. So when this gets damaged, you can replace this.
Yes.
Haber Yachts' flagship sailboat is the Haber 34 C4, a proper going yacht that'll take you just about anywhere.
I want to show you a little bit of the Haber Yacht 34C. This is the 34-foot cutter that has the C4 centerboard system here. You got to check this out. So, Janusz, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Do you have any advice for someone like me who's building or restoring a boat? Maybe it's their own project. They're doing it on their own. As a professional, do you have any advice for them?
Try make the best.
Yeah. The best quality?
Yeah, the best solution, the best quality, the best working functionality. The quality has many faces, many levels. Try to understand how the thing is really working, what is really helpful. Make it, try it, correct it. And very good is to using the experience which was collected by another. But you have to contact the people you trust, that they make good work, you know, and that you both can elevate each other, because that is the way of developing the correct way.
Yeah.
After spending most of the day together, Janusz and I had a detailed conversation about the differences between amateur and professional boat builders and his philosophy and goals when he's building a boat for a customer. I think I'm going to put that interview in a separate episode, so be sure to check that out.
Well, we've come to the end of the episode. I hope that this was as exciting for you as it was for me, getting to see how things are done here at Haber Yachts and spending some time with Janusz, hearing his ideas, and frankly, becoming a bit of a believer in the way that he thinks some boats should be built, especially these smaller ones. It's just something, well, I don't think you're going to see it in many other places on YouTube. This has been an amazing episode. I want to thank you for the opportunity
Thank you,
to
Joe.
come
Thank
here.
you very
Thank
much,
you so much.
that you came here. Thank you very much you came here. You spent the time, effort, everything. And I didn't know what I had to thinking before. But now I think it was a great thing that we met together.
Okay, I think so too. Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you so much. Thank you. Bye.
So we're getting ready to leave Haber Yacht Works, right? And as we're getting to leave, Janusz says, I have to show you one more thing. And we've already done this like 3 or 4 times. I have to show you one more thing. And we're learning things about how he's building boats. And it's surprisingly similar to what I have going on in the boat works, but of course at a much grander professional scale. And Janusz says, hey, come over here. You got to see this. You're absolutely going to love this. And I say, oh, we have to go. You got to see this. And he brings me over here inside. Check this out. The wall of stainless steel fittings, and it goes all the way around the corner here. No one would know what this means except for a real boat builder.
Yes.
Because he said, how long did it take you to do this?
4 months.
4 months to get it
From
organized.
idea to ready product which make happy everybody.
Right. In my boat works, I have one big table and I have just piles and piles and piles in little baggies, but not organized. And I have been thinking about doing this, and I actually bought the bins, but I haven't spent the time to organize them. Only one boat builder would know this and then want to show it to another one.
Absolutely.
I thank you so much. This is so
Yes.
wonderful. Thank you. Stay motivated.